It's time now for some real education. We take a break in the final segment of every Dr. Duke show to walk away from the politicized education that your kids are getting and try to consider what school might be like if we actually studied the great thinkers and writers of human history. So we're continuing for the second week what I call the humanistic approach to education, the great minds of Western culture, and how they, in their brilliance, provide an education for kids that actually is moral, it's ethical, that gives them real knowledge to hold on to as opposed to the sort of political gaslighting that we're getting from today. So my first quote is from Galileo Galilei, the great inventor of the telescope, who said, quote, "You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it for himself." Do you see what a 180-degree difference that is from what we teach our kids? Our kids are hostages being lectured and indoctrinated by intolerant left-wing ideologues. There's no give and take. There's no critical thinking. There's no ability to dissent. Galileo's right. You cannot seriously teach a man anything. You can only help him find it to himself. And if you're not doing that, then everything else you're doing educationally is bullying and indoctrination. How about this quote from Martin Luther? Quote, "You are not only responsible for what you say, but also for what you do not say." Thank you so much, right? It's not just what you say, it's what you don't say. If you want to teach our kids about slavery, but fail to mention that slavery is an international problem, that there was slavery before America and slavery today, and that slavery is relative that way, by not including the fact that non-Western cultures held slaves, you are giving a wrong attitude to American kids who believe devoutly now that America alone is a culture of slavery. And how about the great Erasmus? We saw him last week, too, one of the great Dutch educators of all time, and one of the most famous educators in human history, who was right on about the best way to educate kids. He says, quote, "A speech comes alive only if it rises from the heart, not if it floats on the lips." So all the rhetoric in the world, all your repetitious 1619 nonsense, it's nothing if it comes from the heart. The best way to educate kids is to get them emotionally involved. And that can be done for good and for bad. And the manipulative of the progressive left here in telling these kids endless stories about the suffering that historically minority peoples have suffered over and over again. Not facts, not proof, not demographics, not historical accuracy, just playing on the heartstrings of little kids. That's how you get young valedictorians screeching about abortion rights from the pulpit, from exactly that, by emotionalizing education instead of making it critical and debatable and ultimately correct education.